What's up, everybody? Shawn here with another Live to Roll Live. We're gonna just be starting out with me and Bentley here, right? And then we got Tom joining in a little while. But today is Valentine's Day, so we're gonna be doing dating, sex, relationships, the whole gambit of this fun stuff. So yeah, let's just do a couple quick intros. Me and Bentley can, and then Tom can get on when he's ready here. So yeah, like I said, I'm Shawn. I'm a C5 C6 quad from a snowboarding accident 19 years ago now. So I just had my 19-year mark two weeks ago. All right, Bentley, you want to tell a little bit about yourself? I think a lot of people know you, but
I am an L2, L3, partial incomplete. I'm paraplegic, and my spinal cord injury is from a gunshot wound. And I'm actually approaching my 10th year in September, which is like fucking crazy. But it
that's coming
seems
up
like
on
it
the
comes by
decade.
so fast. Like it just, you blink and you hit that 10-year mark.
I know it's crazy. How's that feel coming up on like 10 year? Because that is that's a big one. The decade. That's like
Well,
when
I
you're
just turned
legit.
35, and that stung pretty like hard. So I'm like, I've
I'm
already been
I'm
kind of
right
prepped for
there.
it.
Dude, I'm right there. I just turned 40 at the end of November. So I'm like, fuck, I hit that big. Like, I'm like, damn, 40. Yeah.
It stings a little.
I'm not gonna
I
lie, it
don't
does a
feel this
little bit.
old either. That's the weird part. Like
Uh,
I feel like eternally 25. Like that was how old I was when I was injured, and I swear, it's like it seems you in so many ways are stuck in the same age.
Dude, I felt like that too, kind of. Like, I don't know. You kind of do get stuck a little bit, I feel like, at least for a period of time. Like, it's hard because you can't enjoy and like live your life like you would have normally through those years. You're rehabbing for like five, whatever years, like just to get back to normal life. So you lose a chunk and then you kind of like, you want to reset and start back, you want those years back. So I don't know. That's the way I look at it, I guess. Um, but what's up in the chat? How I roll, mom? How's it going? Um, said what's up, Bentley? My mom says hi, Bentley.
What's up?
um, and hey, Terry, how's it going? Good to see everybody. But yeah, so we're just gonna hang out. We're talking dating. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. Um, Tom is our one in the relationship. Me and Bentley are living the single life over here. So we can talk a little bit about dating and stuff. I know I was actually going to ask you, we can get into some other stuff later, but I know you recently had posted about somebody that you met and like dated. We actually were talking about it in Houston. The dude you were going to meet in Boston seemed like a
Yeah, it
super
was
nice
so
guy.
well, clearly.
Right. Yeah. And like I remember we were talking about it in Houston, like you're like excited about it, and he seemed like it was gonna be cool. And then like I think at first it was, but I know, and I didn't hear much about it, but I saw you recently posted like some not so good stuff about that. So is that like your most recent like dating or like kind of whatever?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that was like my first like kind of venture into seeing what if I wanted to be with this person. And I met him on Instagram. Like he found me, and he lives up in New Hampshire, and he's from Boston, and like we talked for like 9 months, and I actually bailed on the first trip. Like he had paid to fly me out and got us a hotel and all these things, and I didn't go. And he was really cool about it, so I was like, I guess I could come, and I actually had a really dope time. Like I didn't like get told no for anything. Like we stayed at this awesome casino, which is it's apparently like the nicest place to stay in Boston. um I didn't even know there was gambling in
I didn't know there was Boston.
Massachusetts.
I didn't know there was actually.
And it was like a brand new place. They had it like they had just opened and the pandemic hit. So it's only a couple of years old, and it was like on the harbor, and he took me to Salem and we went whale watching into the aquarium. It was like room service. It was
See,
like the fanciest shit I've ever
that's what, I
experienced in my
remember seeing
life.
you
Like,
post right after that it was a really cool trip. Like that's why, like,
it was, and that's what sucked. Everything was like great, like, and I had a good time. He was a really strange, like, guy, but I had a good time, and he spoiled me. So, like, I guess I just, like, am very transparent about what I want when I'm seeing somebody, and I also am very candid about how I want to date somebody, or if I do. I'm very thorough with communication, and he just did not absorb what I was saying. Like, he had other ideas, and we didn't even kiss or anything. Like, we slept in the same bed, but it, like, there was no intimacy, like, whatsoever. There was a little hand holding, but that was like the extent of anything. And I was there for like 5 days. And so I get home and everything's cool, and we even talk about going to Las Vegas for Christmas. And he made this like cryptic joke about getting married, but he was like serious. And I had only spent like 5 days with this dude, and he wanted to marry me. Like, I know I'm dope, but like that's like a whole
that's a little bit much.
bag of flags. Like, I just was like, nah. And I still was like talking to him for a little bit afterwards, and I'd say like about a month later, I finally was just like called it off, and I didn't talk to him for several months. And I really thought we were cool. Like, we, as far as I knew, like, enjoyed talking to each other. Like, but he apparently had much deeper feelings and intentions and all these things. So I reached out to him just a little after Christmas just to say what's up, and he was weird. He's weird anyway, but I didn't think anything of it. And he was like telling me how he had lost his job, and I don't watch stories. Like, that's one thing. I've pissed off a bunch of dudes. They're like, you didn't watch my story. I'm like, I don't watch anybody's stories. I don't watch snaps. Like, I just don't watch stories. And I guess he'd been posting all this cryptic shit, like, specifically for me to see. And he was all of a sudden in a wheelchair. And I'm like,
yeah, I saw you post that. I was like, what?
So, according to him, when I broke things off with him, he went a little crazy and went on a bender, went and did a bunch of blow and got drunk, and he said he had a spinal stroke or a spinal seizure, something, and he's temporarily paralyzed. I googled that shit, and it is a thing, but I'm still just like, sketch.
Yeah.
And he like sent me this cryptic, creepy joke. That's what the post was him sending this joke. I have a friend that's a double amputee, and that's what he says, that when people ask why he doesn't have his legs, he says a genie chopped him off because he asked for his dick to touch the ground, like something stupid.
That's pretty funny.
Well, that's what this guy was like trying to use that humor, I'm pretty sure. He's like, I got this bad genie with hearing problems. I told him I wanted this girl in a wheelchair, and he put me in a wheelchair. And it's like this little genie response, and he's like, Tylight makes pretty good chairs. And so, like, this dude, like, bought a used Tylight chair, and there's just all kinds of little weird things from when, like, he wanted to buy a shower chair before I had even confirmed to come to Boston. And I'm just honestly wondering if he was a Devo, to be completely honest.
So that's what actually this Lee in the chat asked if he was a devotee, and then it says, sounds like a devotee. I've experienced similar.
And this did, he never felt like that. He never felt like, I'm Devo friendly. Like, as long as you're transparent about it, whatever, I know that there's like, it's a kink thing, but it can be predatory. So I'm open-minded about it personally. But This
No,
was just
yeah.
really, really creepy. And, he sent me lots of really badass presents and nice things and, like, lived halfway across the United States. And, like, I had my space ish. Like, I still, for me to feel that he's invading my space and to be 1,800 miles away, like, that should have
That's a little,
indicated,
yeah.
like, that this was not for me anyway. But
Yeah, no, that whole thing sounds a little bit weird. That's like, I've had
a lot
some
of
like
it weird.
weird, yeah, a lot of it weird, for sure. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Like yeah, I don't know to have, because I mean, you did have the like actual interaction with him for that trip, so like, I don't know, it just seems crazy. But
I
then to
think
him
that
to,
like, I think he genuinely did like me and love me and all the things, and he was obsessed with me. But I think that there were underlining things as well.
he might have had some weird things going on. He might have been a little bit of a Devo under like, I don't really know,
There was a
but there's
lot
a
of shit
lot of
going on
weird
with
people.
him. Like, I won't even go it. Well, it'll be a whole show just me talking about him. Like, I'm telling you. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't regret it. I really genuinely have love for this individual. He was there for me emotionally for a lot. And even though we were just chatting online, we talked all the time every day, and we we would FaceTime, and he helped me study for my finals and stuff. Like,
Huh. That's yeah.
it was really sweet and awesome for a little bit.
For yeah, for a little bit.
The
Yeah,
story of
that's
my
crazy.
life.
No, I know. Yeah, I've had a few like different interactions like that where it's just like, but not. See, I think for a girl it's a little bit different. Like you got, it's like I don't know. There's more predatorial, like
I'm
divos and just
scary
weirdos
though.
out
Like, I'm a
there.
scary, intimidating chick. So there's like a weird
You probably do
dynamic
have
with
some.
all of that.
You probably have like some extra weirdos kind of on your just because you're in like the different cultures, like with like the tattoo world and all the different like just the different cultures you're involved in. Like there's some weirdos that like you get off the fringes of everything that like
I mean,
you.
we hung out in Houston. You saw how it gravitates to me.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
it's a blessing and a curse. It was a lot of fun.
Uh, yeah, no, that's cool. So, what besides that, what are you doing? Are you do you do like any online dating, or do you even just like nah, like don't even
I
mess
have
with
never done online dating. It's just never has been my thing. And I also, like, I live in Amarillo and I know everybody. And my friend, like, several years ago, it was like right when I moved out. So this had to be like 5 years. She was a counselor and she suggested, oh, try the free Bumble thing. And I was like, okay, I'll do the week and see, like, what's up. And everybody that I matched with or whatever, I don't even know, like, the people that popped up, it was all people I knew. And I was like, fuck
yeah.
this. Like,
You're
I
like, this is
already,
already the
like,
pool of people I know. Like I know, oh, like I know that guy. I know that. That's pretty funny.
or people
So yeah,
you've
you just need
already
to go
hooked
to a
up with.
bigger.
Like, that sucks.
Yeah, I guess you got to do the more like distant stuff. Like I don't know. That's why that seems. See, that's crazy to like develop to talk to somebody that much online and then to have them like I don't know. I guess people can kind of like hide their
I was about
kind
to
of
say, you can hide very easily
yeah. You can
behind
hide
a
your weirdness
device.
for a
Like,
while. Yeah, until like yeah, that's wild. But yeah, for me, like the online dating kind of sucks too. I go back and forth. Like I'll try for a little while. I'm like, oh no, this sucks. Oh, here's Tom joining us again. Let me pop Tom in here. Bam.
hey,
What's
What's
up,
up,
Tom?
everybody?
So yeah, we
Hi,
were
guys.
just talking a
Hi,
little
Shawn.
dating stuff. We were hearing about Bentley's horror story of the guy that she actually remember. We were talking to her in Houston about going to meet some guy, and
Yeah,
like
the
that.
Boston guy, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw her post later, but that turned into a pretty bad horror story. And you can go back and watch some of this and hear her
Yeah,
if you
no,
want.
definitely.
She,
I'll definitely read it.
but yeah, what's up, Tom? You're how's our live to roll relationship member here?
I'm doing
on
okay.
Valentine's Day?
Sorry for the little delay. I like had a little snack before the show, and I got like super low blood pressure, like right after I ate for some reason. And I thought I was gonna pass out, but it's all good. I'm here, and yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm Tom Conaway, C6B, quadriplegic for the past 25 years, and yeah, I guess I'm the resident relationship expert. Robot. No, definitely not that. Definitely not the relationship expert, but I am dating a beautiful woman. Have been for the last couple of years. It's a little, I don't know, unique, I guess. She's also in a chair. So that's hear about a lot of interable couples, but not too many of like both individuals have the disability. But yeah, dating is interesting. Dating is difficult. Dating takes a lot of work, takes a lot of compromise, takes a lot of effort. It's awesome. It's really amazing when you can find somebody.
Yeah.
But
Oh, there's Bella.
uh, it's
Going on.
but yeah, I don't know. Any specific questions, Sean? Anything you're dying to know?
Well, actually, go through the chat. I know we had some in there, but for you, I don't know. What are let's just hear for Valentine's Day in a relationship right now. Do you guys have big plans for the day? Is it something that you take like you have to take seriously as a boyfriend here, or how's that go for you guys? I know everyone's different in that dynamic. Some girls don't really care. Yeah, how's Caitlin?
Yeah, I'm hitting buttons on my keyboard over here. Sorry if things are shaky for a second. Um, we're not making too big a deal out of it. We were gonna maybe try to like get a hotel. She lives with roommates, and I got like a really tiny studio apartment. But hotel prices are expensive, and lots were really booked up, and um, still maybe like planning that for a different day. Just gonna hang out, do some dinner later. Nothing significant. She doesn't really like to eat out too much, so I think we'll probably just order in and watch some movies and just chill and hang out. Nothing crazy. Um, but I think it is important to uh, you know take the day to like celebrate, not just like your significant other, but yourself too. That self love is super
That's what I was
important.
gonna say for all of us singles out here. The
I
self
think
love.
it's yeah something that we forget about too, because yeah, Valentine's Day is really centered around the couples and like uh, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it's something that's really important that we remember to love ourselves and give ourselves some love. And just because you maybe don't have a significant other today doesn't mean you can't still treat yourself or do something to make yourself feel good. Um, but yeah, that's my feelings on Valentine's Day. It's my parents' anniversary. It's their 30-year
Oh wow.
anniversary. They were married on Valentine's Day and have been married for 30 years today. So
Just an applause.
it's that something to
Congratulations
celebrate for
uh,
sure.
to
I
Doug
was
and
like,
Alice for.
yeah, congrats, mom and dad. I always joke like mom and dad are like the best worst like example of relationship because it's like what you strive for. It's like they really do complete each other. They're their best friends. They have been for as long as they've been together, and like love each other more than they ever have like 30 years later. And that's beautiful. Like it's something incredible, and something that I'm like super happy to not be a product of their relationship, but just to have grown up and witnessed it and to have that positive example. But it's it's something like I've always wanted to strive for too, is like a relationship like theirs, and um, you know, it's hard. I and again, like they went through their trials and tribulations too. I can only imagine the difficulties they went through over the last 30 years.
Yeah, 30
uh,
years is long.
yeah, and in the midst of that, they raised three kids, three of which they had in 3 years, one of whom was disabled as a toddler. And, like just all the sacrifice and all the work that they had, put in. Um, it's amazing and super beautiful and super exciting. So this day is, kind of special and important in that regard too. Just because, yeah, because of that.
No,
But
that's cool.
also, I don't think Valentine's Day should be like an excuse to like love and and do your thing. Like any day can be that excuse, like really. And I think it's important to, like not forget that.
No, that's cool.
But
That's a good point, Tom. That's important. No, you don't have to do it just on the day that Hallmark tells you to do it, and to go buy all the candy and stuff. Uh,
exactly. Um,
I'm gonna just go throw a few people in the chat here. We had Peter from way early in there. Derek, what's up?
Hi
Um,
Suzette, Ben
Lee
in the
was in there.
chat. You gotta love yourself before anyone loves you the way that you deserve. And that's true. I think a lot of people looking for relationships like forget that too, and it can be hard finding a partner when you're missing that self love. I think it's a big part of it. Any
Paul
thoughts on
married
that?
36 years. Shout out to our friend from Canada.
Teddy
That's a
Ton.
that's a good time too. 36 years. That's a nice.
Oh, love you guys. Hope you and Barb are good. Yeah. And
Uh,
yeah, I'm kind of curious. What are your thoughts on Valentine's Day, Shawnee boy?
I mean, I've never personally gotten really into it, and fortunately, like when I have been in relationships, the girls I've been in relationships with have not been like overly like needing to go out and be like have all the things on Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is crazy when you go out. You know how hard it is to get like reservations and go out to dinner on tonight at most places. A nicer place, because I remember like when I was in relationships, like we would either do it the night before or after a lot of times, like, and then just stay in and relax on Valentine's Day because it's just hectic out there.
It's too
Um,
peoply.
yeah, it is two people exactly.
Well, I really want to go like do a night away somewhere, like a couple hours outside of LA, and just like get out of
Yeah,
the
see,
city.
like doing a trip or something like that is cool. But like you said, like I feel like it doesn't have to necessarily be on February 14th or whatever. Like you could take like when I'm in a relationship, I want to take trips like a few times a year, like do little weekend getaways. Like it's just nice to do that, to have your little away time, even if it is just a weekend or a night away. Like I've always liked to do that. It's just yeah, it's good. So for me, like I just would rather do it whenever all year round, just kind of um, when we have time and money, like
Yeah,
it's kind of and not force it on certain days. But like I mean, I think it is cool. It's nice to have the holiday to like make sure you can like do a little extra maybe. So we'll see if I get into a relationship at any point here.
I think
uh,
this time of year can like cause the fever. It's like it's just you see it everywhere. You see it in
so it
ads. You hear about all the relationships. You see it all online. It makes a lot of people be like, "Oh man, like, damn, I wish I had that." Like, let me hop on this Tinder app real quick and like maybe find that like holiday sweetheart. Hey
uh,
Paul, I want to apologize, Brenda, your beautiful wife, Brenda. I get it mixed up with Barb. I don't know why. I don't know why I keep calling her Barbara, but I promise I
her
won't.
name is Barbara. I'm pretty sure it's not Brenda. I
Oh,
think you
you
mixed
said it
it.
in the chat. I'll get here. Barb, Brenda says hi. In any case, Paul, I'm super sorry. If she's not watching, don't sell me down the river, okay? I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're.
I'm totally sold down the river, but it's all good. Um, Now
uh,
let's get into a tricky topic, a tough topic. I think like on this kind of day. Suzette had a comment said, "Relationships. It's hard to find a partner who respects our condition." Yes, that is true. I think anybody who has dated post disability knows how difficult that can be. I feel like one, it like instantly eliminates a good portion of the dating pool, whether
It does.
like that's good riddance or not. The reality is disability and stuff. It's not as easy for everyone to deal with the process, and I wish it was, just like something that everybody could see and not, get too in their head about, or like think it'd be too much, or like see it as like a big obstacle or complication. But that is the reality for some people. That being said, there's still lots of amazing, awesome people out there that will see your disability and absolutely, if not like pay no mind, realize it's not a deal breaker. Realize that it's something that can be managed and overcome, and hopefully, the individual already has, some understanding of that, and it's just another obstacle to navigate. It's just baggage like everybody's got. Like ours is just a little bit different than uh, you know other people's, but you know everybody's got baggage. Um, so that's tough. It can be really hard dealing with that rejection, dealing with just the difficult nature of overcoming that when dating. Especially when it affects your self-esteem, your mental psyche. It could just be really tough. I've faced it in, like my years of dating and trying to navigate that. I've had lots of not so great experiences with people exactly like that, that I felt just like what you said, had very little respect for me just in general as a person, but mostly, as like a result of them seeing my disability first before, seeing me. And that can just be hard. And I wish there was like a easy way to be like, oh, just like don't worry about it, don't pay attention to those people and stuff. But again, that's not reality. That's part of it. It's part of dating, especially dating with a disability. So, Bentley, Shawn, do you guys have thoughts on that? Have you ran into
Dating sucks if you can
circumstances?
walk. It's just part of the process. Like, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Like, it does suck, having to add the element of disability, but it sucked when I didn't have a disability, It's just a little more complicated now.
I
yeah,
was gonna say, yeah, it's pretty complicated, I think, for everybody. But yeah, with the disability, I think it just limits a little bit more. I think, especially like, there's a lot of limiting factors with disability too. Like, I don't know. Just I feel like my profile, I like my first couple pictures are me. Like you can, it's me, but you can't really see the chair clearly. It's more just like headshot type of things.
That's
And
those thirst traps.
so I will match like sometimes on these dating apps when I do go on the apps. I go on, and like I literally have they're like, oh hey, like 2 messages later, disappear. Like I'm like, okay, they checked out my profile. Like, cause literally, like it'll be like almost like it'll be like back and forth, and then just gone.
ghost.
Like,
Have you ever done like just your first profile? I don't know how these things work. I told you I've never done online dating, but can you like make your first picture a picture of you, like your
yeah,
intro? This is
I,
me in my chair.
I can, and I guess I should do that.
Have you?
And
Have you? That's where I was getting at. I'm sorry.
um, I usually don't be just because like I don't want to be instantly judged on
That's a
that.
very vulnerable
Like,
place to put yourself. I understand.
so it's
Yeah,
like I feel like because if when I do that, I feel like it's an instant like okay, boom for sure they're gone. If I can at least get them to look at my profile and engage, like, and then like see that like I have an active lifestyle, like you can actually like maybe read something about me, then maybe I have a better chance of getting them to be like, maybe I'll give it a chance and like go for it. I feel like if it's just the wheelchair right off the bat, like you're immediately like you're not even letting the door crack open You're just like,
But you don't know that.
I guess I don't know that. I don't. Yeah, you're right. You are right.
And I mean, just being from my perspective, if somebody knows automatically, like when they see somebody that will be genuine and want to find someone and have actual interest beyond something physical, that would be a good way to start. Just in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, I feel you. And maybe I'll update it next. Like I've kind of been like off of it for now. I've been thinking about going back on. Like Tom mentioned, I think
Are you
earlier, like
bored?
well, it is like this. Like when it's like Valentine's Day, it is come around. Like all this whole like thing, like it starts to make you like, oh, maybe I should try to date again. Like it's like,
Sitting
you
around,
know.
bored and horny, might as well start swiping left or swiping right. I'm just kidding.
So which
Uh,
is it? Is swiping left like yes or
No,
no?
I think left is
swipe
no,
right.
right is usually.
Yes, yeah, that's like the
Swipe
term.
right? That's what you
Swipe
want?
right, swipe right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when we're talking about dating and online dating, so I feel like they're two very different things. You know, we
Well,
live
Right.
in
and
an online.
dating and actually being in a relationship are different too. I told y'all, like, I have
Yeah,
dinner daddies. Like, that's like literally people pay for the privilege of my company, and that's all it is. We go out and eat and have a good time, and I have that. And then there's more intimate things. You know, you go to the movies and go to different events together. And
See, like I
there's
have friends
like a
that I will
difference, which
go
I
to.
don't know, just to me, I don't know, maybe just me.
Like I have a
well, no,
couple of
I'm
like
with you.
female friends that I will go to events with, like even go out to dinners with and stuff. But it is like platonic. There's no like
But
real
that's still
intimacy
considered
there.
dating in these days, and that's
I
where I am
guess.
at, because I
I,
have so many friends and I have a lot of homeboys that take me out to eat and stuff like that, like not my dinner daddies, like my friends, like we, I have a lot of that too, and from outside perspectives, it's been, oh well, that's a date type thing, and I'm like, well, that's what the fuck is dating actually? Like that's I'm like we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Like there's no in between. Like, I know that's not
Well,
accurate, but in my mind, it's we're cuffed or there's nothing.
no, I mean I hear you. That everyone's definition I think is a little bit different. And like if you're a player and like that's part of the fun is like going out and like maybe that's not I don't even like assign that term to it. It's just like that's your vibe is not being tied down and kind of like and the freedom to date around and stuff. I mean that is a vibe and like I think everyone feels that vibe every once in a while, or like at some point in their life in terms of like dating and navigating dating. What I was kind of
Well,
getting
and
to
like
is
the
like
dating just doesn't feel the same as a relationship, if that
yeah,
makes any sense
yeah,
to
well,
me.
I mean dating hopefully will lead to that if that's like your want and your intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, everyone's definition of like that relationship and stuff is different too, and it comes down to those two people. Like some people like that monogamy, some people like are more open, and there's all kinds of different relationships and dynamics that exist and are way more commonplace nowadays. And again, that always is up to the individual and their partner and like that specific dynamic. And just like spinal cord injuries, like everyone's different, like every relationship is different, every situation is different. And, it's just kind of got to navigate that road as, you know, you go along it, I guess. Um, I was kind of getting to like with online dating is that it can be more difficult, I think, in a sense, because the online space allows for people to be more callous. If you're behind a phone, behind a screen, behind
yeah.
like this separated barrier, and you're not actually talking and engaging with someone in person, then it's a lot easier, I think, to um, be lame, to be rude, to be a jerk, to ghost, and maybe not feel like you're hurting someone or something like that, just because that is the nature of that space. That is the nature of online dating. And I just wanted to kind of, speak on that and let everybody know that, it can be really hard. going out and meeting people in person can be hard too, especially from the chair, I think. But yeah, I'd much rather, like go out and try to, meet someone socially versus like navigating the online space. Just after having had those experiences many a time and not feeling so great afterwards.
Uh,
Um,
and like Olivia mentioned, Black Olive, she's given up on dating and just goes on there to like meet people to hang. But that's, I mean, I get that's kind of if you're actually meeting people and going and hanging out with them. I get that's the friend dating thing. I don't know.
There's
It's,
ace websites, you know, that's like pretty much what you do.
yeah, just make like friend, whatever.
and I mean, if that's your
It's a
intention,
safe, like it's a safe space. You don't have to worry about like the pressures of sexuality and all of those things to add on top of dating. And that was just the ace is for asexual. I didn't
yeah.
know if y'all knew what I was talking about or if any of the other listeners. And that's been actually a really important place for me to figure out things about myself. I think that if you're looking for friendship, that's always a really good option because it's already a common ground that you're already searching for that both of who you're talking to and reaching out to. Just an option.
No, that's
Well, no, I
good.
think
Yeah.
that's absolutely, right, and like honestly, super great. Just like Olivia said, I mean, when people like wrap up like sex and dating and like sex and relationships, all into one package too. And I don't know,
And it
some
absolutely
people.
doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be. I think a lot of people do wrap it up into one, and like that's kind of their goal in mind with like dating and relationships is to, like maybe get to that physical component. But if that is like purely their intention, then it's really probably not a good, healthy place to start, unless like that's the crowd and the space and what you're
Unless
going
that's
for.
what you're going for.
Well, if that's what you're going for, then it's all good, and like navigate that space as you may. But I think it's just great that you noted and touched on that, and like that Olivia brought it up too, that like dating relationships doesn't necessarily have to um have like the pressure of like the physical and the sexual component of it, if that's difficult for you too. And there's lots of spaces to navigate that and like experience kind of dating and reaching out and talking to people without the pressure of that. And I think that's important and can be really healthy and a lot safer and comfortable for some people. So good point.
Yeah, for sure.
uh, but
And Olivia says she's gonna check it out. The asexual chat.
the ace community,
Ace.
how do you meet people, Bentley?
Later,
How
Ben.
do what?
How do you meet people? Do online dating, like if
Just,
you're
I
I
mean,
mean
you've
it's just
hung out with me. You see how it works.
God,
Like,
no, you're
I
such a
know,
I'm
social,
just sitting,
she's
chilling,
like a
like
magnet for
hanging out at the
people.
pool, like
you're
meeting
such a
people
social
in the front
butterfly. Yeah,
offices. Like,
yeah.
I for whatever reason, I've always been like people gravitate to me as a safe space. I don't know if it's my alternative nature, whatever, but even before I was hurt, I always have had like a superpower almost of like networking and connecting with people. And I meet people just in like while I'm executing my everyday life. Like I'm like friends with the people that work the drive through that I go through every day, and make friends that way. The lady at the laundromat, like my friend, like hanging out with dudes, like just going and like at school meeting people, like their electricians will end up being dudes I used to party with, and it's just like a spider web full of things. Of course people slide in my DMs and things like that because it's just easy. It's the way we live these days. But I just am very naturally great at meeting people organically, and that's what I truly love about the human experience. Like, and I think that that's why we're here, is that connectivity. And I put that out there. I'm very open. I love people. And there's been a point in time where I thought I hated people, and I have been surprised many times. And the more I sit and hang out with people that aren't anything like me, the more I grow. You always find you'll see somebody and y'all look completely opposite. I mean, y'all don't know, I don't think, but I go to like one of the best agriculture schools in the nation, and so I'm going to school with a bunch of cowboys and like little cowgirls and stuff like that. And for me to be able to find things in common and a common ground with somebody that I don't have anything outside appearance wise in common, I love that. I love deep talks. I love finding cool things. And I don't know, I guess I just project that out there, and I just randomly meet people. It's weird, like how I've spider web, like just, it's super weird.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all were there. I ended up on my homegirl's Tinder date, stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
That was so random and funny, and that was cool. They were both super cool. That was fun.
But that's just a prime example. Like, shit just happens. Like, and he was cool as fuck. He bought both our dinners. Like, it was dope.
See, that's random too. Yeah. See, somebody like, yeah, your friend, like they were on a Tinder date. He flew in. Right? Like he wasn't
from
even
New
from
York,
there.
Yeah,
like flew in from New York to Houston.
Like hung out the night before. They came and scooped me in a freaking Camaro. I'm like, God, I hope my wheelchair will fit in the trunk. Like, they came and hung out with us at the pool. Like, it was fun.
Yeah. Well, being in a school is hugely beneficial. I met a lot of people going to school too. It can be like a really great social place, like regularly like meeting with people, just like really great opportunity, common ground to just like make a lot of friendships and make a lot of relationships with a lot of different people. That being said, I don't know, I like to go out. I like to go to bars. I like to go, out on a Friday night or Saturday and just go cruise along the beach all day long and just, stop and like hang out different places and talk to random people and stuff like that. I think it can be hard to put yourself out there. I think especially for some individuals, especially like post-injury, find that particularly difficult. And not everybody's, a like social butterfly like Bentley or myself. Like Shawn's a little bit more reserved. But I don't know, Shawn, you like are quite the social butterfly at times as well.
It depends. Like I'm not. Like if people want to come talk to me, totally, I'll talk. Like but I'm not as like you guys were like. Yeah, I don't just talk to as many just random strangers and things like that.
Well, we're also, both of us are very complimentive. It's like, oh my God, I love your shoes,
guys are.
your bag, your hair.
I'm not as good at that, and I just never.
I love like, and I genuinely like to let people know, like, and I know Tom's the same way. Like, if you see like somebody was like flossing, like, it's nice to let them know that like you clearly like got the attention, like it was succeeded. Like, I love that.
And again, like my intention always with like those social interactions are just to, like have a cool like social interaction and make the other person feel good, like make myself feel good about like smiling at another human being and making a connection, like I just thrive off like what Bentley said, like human connection, like I really
bring a little happiness to each other's worlds.
Like I echo that so much, like I believe we're all here to, connect with one another and, share one another's experiences. And, like that is always just my intention, to like those interactions, just to, share the human experience with somebody else. And sometimes, a lot comes from that, I met my girlfriend at a spinal cord injury support group, like no intention of, meeting someone, like, going on dates or anything like that. Like that wasn't even in my mind, but, it just like so happened, it turned out that way. But my point is that put yourself out there, whatever that social thing may be for you. And it's different for everybody. And it takes work and it takes effort too, like not just rolling into, all these like social experiences and stuff. Like, I put myself in a lot of them. I know Bentley is like super social, likes to travel, and like put herself in these um, places to experience a lot of those social interactions too. And how do you do that? Where do you find that confidence? I don't know. I think part of it's learned. Like part of it's through just like experiencing it and stuff. And it's not a easy thing for everybody. So give yourself
I
credit too.
I have a question then for Bentley. Do you come from, is your family like your parents like you kind of with like outgoing, like talk, cuz like Tom, like his dad, like I could totally see where Tom gets a lot of his personality from. Like like so I'm just curious if you're kind of this, if your parents are like that too, cuz like if that's where you're kind
My
of
dad is like
outgoing.
is very eccentric and extra. I don't know if I've told y'all, he's a veterinarian and he's a mad scientist. He's one of the foremost authorities on equine reproduction. They do cloning and artificial insemination, and he looks like he's crazy. He looks like Jerry Garcia in a Hawaiian shirt. And so he just won the Veterinarian of the Year award for the PRCA. So he like went to the NFR in Las Vegas in December, and he's, I would say, like, very much so. I get that like social aspect, but he's not friendly like me. Like, he's
Okay.
a doctor, he's very egotistical, like it's his show type thing. I am more like my mother in that aspect as far as wanting to connect with people. Like, I have a very interesting balance between the two, and definitely the outgoing part's my dad, but the connectivity and the empathy and the kindness is my mother entirely.
That's cool. That yeah. I was just
Uh,
curious, yeah, because like that's because I have a very talkative, outgoing mom, but I
I
have a
love your
quiet dad.
mom and
So
your
I think
grandma,
I can't.
both of them.
I know.
I
It's like,
have a
but my
blast
dad is
hanging
pretty
out.
quiet and reserved. He was. So like that's why I feel like I just have more of that. But yeah, like I do want to have more of like when I see you guys, like when I'm out with Tom and stuff, and like he's talking to everybody and like the like I'm like I wish I had that
Getting the
sometimes.
party
I just
going.
yeah, like it's just hard.
well, it's something weird that like Bentley just said too is it's same with like my dad is definitely like a social butterfly. Same with my mom, but my mom and I guess my dad too, they're like hugely empathetic people, and they like passed it on to me and my sister and my brother. I think almost like to a fault sometimes because we're just like almost too
Ugh.
damn empathetic. Like it's like, oh damn, how do I turn
Wearing
this
your
off?
heart
Like
on your sleeve, like, ugh.
yeah, I don't want to feel everybody's like shit all the time, but I'm very
But
grateful
I
for it.
do.
No, no, I mean I do like think I get a little overwhelmed sometimes, or I overwhelm myself, just operating in the world we live in today,
Well, and
because
I
it can
don't know
be.
if you like feel this way. This is just my personal opinion. I think that in the same way, like a blind person, their senses kind of overcompensate to make up for the loss of sight. I feel like the loss of physical nerve and movement and feeling things physically has enhanced our ability to feel emotions so much deeper. Um,
Yeah,
that's
that
just
is
how
super
I feel,
interesting.
because I never used to be like, I have always been kind and caring, but I feel things so much deeper than I ever did.
Well, I think part of that
That's
comes through
interesting.
overcoming our trauma, living through this experience and living through this, significant loss, of like a part of ourselves, part of our physical identity. I think that does grant immense perspective and a lot of change in how we see and feel and experience. So I certainly think that that could probably be a big part of it, Bentley. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I,
It's something to think about. It's like
yeah.
stoner, like mind blowing, like philosophical. Like, is that
Yeah,
what's
no,
going
that's
on here? Like, did I develop a sixth sense? Is this is like?
I think a lot of people would be surprised they have that sense, but you don't always necessarily make a point to pay attention to it, or they just ignored it so long it's hard for them to read it. But again, I'm not here judging anybody's or anybody's, empathy or anything like that. Everybody's different, and that's what makes us all beautiful. Is that we're all so unique and we're all different. We, all operate in unique ways. I think there's an interesting comment earlier I wanted to touch on. Um, Olivia was asking, how does she explain her Hoyer lift? How does she explain some of this crazy stuff? I think the exact comment was, I still like fun stuff. I like for them to be open and experimenting as well. Our bodies need a little bit more help. Lol, how do I explain the trapeze? Um, I think that's a
You just
interesting
candid.
one.
Just put it out there.
Um,
I don't know. Maybe like
I
that's what
I think
approach.
I think putting it out there is the right approach. I think if you can have a positive attitude towards it, it's not something you're necessarily trying to hide. It's something you can be confident about. Something you can own. Like my um, kind of go to is always like I'll make a joke about it. It's like, oh man, like imagine what we could do with that. Just something like that because like that is fun. It takes the edge off. It takes the pressure off the other person too. I think a little bit, and yeah, embracing it, full stop, full tilt. That counts for the chair. It counts for like any other mobility aids and stuff. And I'm saying when I was doing the online dating thing too, and again, this isn't judge you, Shawn. Like everyone's got different way that they do it, but I'm like, boom, first picture, me in my chair, out there, like no pulling no punches. Like you're either gonna swipe and be cool with it, or like not. Just because like I would rather own it. It is a part of my identity. It's a part of who I am. And there's no hiding that from the start. Like the instant we connect and we talk, like I want the other person to like know, like, hey, this is what's up. And I think I don't know, my like past in dating and stuff, like I kind of live for that. Like I die for that, like that courting process and getting to know someone, and even the nervous moments when you like talk about stuff like that, or like explain those things. But if they're cool and they're accepting and it's positive, then like that's all the better, and like that's all part of the experience for me. So that's my advice: own it, full stop.
All right.
It's
Um,
a good way to see who passes the vibe check too.
yeah,
It's fair
and when I
enough.
say I do have like my things where I'm like, I don't know, vanity, I think is an interesting question too. Like we all like to feel sexy, we all like to feel good and beautiful and handsome and whatever, right? Um, again, this isn't judging anybody, but like I've seen some quads or some people that like wear their leg bag like out in the open. Like they just hang it outside their pants or hanging on their chair or something. So it's just like a bag of pee, visible, hanging in the open. And I don't know. I would say in that instance, like maybe don't own it so much, and then like own it, like
Maybe not.
like obviously, you get to know this person, and like they're gonna figure out about it eventually. But, um, I think that is
Well,
part of like
there's
feeling
plenty of
confident.
ways to make things look like okay without
Exactly, exactly. So, um, there is some nuance, at least I think, in my opinion, when it comes to I don't know, like my chair and things like that, for sure. But like, I'm not just sitting around my catheter bags, hanging out for the world to see. And that's not necessarily like potential, relationships with people. But that's just like the world in general too. Like it makes me feel better. It makes me feel confident to look good and feel good, and like I present and show what I want, but also at the same time, like I I do try to be mindful of certain things in my appearance, my outward appearance to the world, because I don't want anybody else to feel uncomfortable, and I want the reaction to be like, "Dang, look at that guy! Who's that good-looking guy cruising right there?" Versus like maybe, "Ooh, what's that guy's
I honestly
doing
I,
hanging on his leg?"
I've always thought when I was younger and whatever, and even now, I guess, like, I do think about that at some level. But to be completely honest, like, over the years, I've kind of realized that, like, I don't even know if that matters that much. And like people see the chair and like they just assume you got a pee bag anyways. Like, like
Yeah, I have
if it's
people
there, if it's
frequently
not,
talk about my colostomy I don't have, like, just being hateful at the bar, like trying to like talk shit. I'm like, I don't have one, you weirdos. We don't all just automatically have specific, like, it's just so crazy what fits in the disabled box, like after your spinal cord injury, like what people really have, like all the misconceptions is just mind boggling.
I have on my abdomen, so I catheterize intermittently. I don't have like a bag or anything, but I also don't catheterize through my urethra. I have what's called a metrophenoph, which is like this little port right here in my abdomen that goes right to my bladder. And it looks just like a second belly button right next to my belly button. It's barely noticeable. Even if like I have my shirt off in the pool or something, like it's really hard to tell or see. But that's where I've got a lot of anxiety is around that, like my body's a little misshapen and like I got some contractures and stuff in my legs and my elbows, but that's always like where my big anxiety is like kind of hung around. And like when someone sees me naked for the first time or something, I want to see that thing and be like, damn, what the hell is that? I got an extra belly button hanging around right there. Um, and how I navigate that is just communication. I'm not likely to sleep with somebody or be in that kind of intimate space with somebody that I haven't had a lot of conversation with beforehand, and kind of just laid out some of this stuff. And that is generally what gives me confidence in those situations to not feel that anxiety or feel, the self-esteem issues or, just anxious about those things, because I've already talked about it. I've already laid it out. The picture's already painted. There are no surprises, and that's coolio. Like there should be no shame with this stuff. Suprapubic, colostomies, things like that. If you're with a cool partner that is open-minded and caring and honest and loving in the way they're supposed to be, then it's no biggie. Just be honest, communicate about it all, and if they're not cool with it, you don't want to be with that person anyways, because it's just not going to work out.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, no, for sure. Like Olivia said that. So is the leg bag now like a whale tail? So it's like putting out your sign of, I guess. But she's not gonna put low rise plants for the super pubic, and yeah, I mean, yeah.
I try to never judge anybody, but I always out here judging, mostly myself. But and I think it's just, again, I don't know. I get caught up in telling people what to do or how to dress or what to show, what not to show, because I think every situation is unique, and it's not my place to necessarily judge or comment. It's just when it comes to stuff like that, I don't know. It's like the technology exists. Like that's why we have leg bags, like a thigh bag to strap to our leg and stuff. It's to help us feel more confident and more sexy, and um, just navigate those spaces easier. Those are just my thoughts and my tips. Again, like some people, have a bag hanging on their chair that they put their stuff in, and it's mostly out of the way and stuff. So again, I'm not judging and telling anybody necessarily how to do this. It's just these are kind of like my personal thoughts, and it's things I do, when I'm going out and trying to like feel good and look good. Um,
How I roll. Kelly said, telling somebody at the bar that you need to go home soon to empty your colostomy bag or do your bowel routine will guarantee you go home alone.
I don't know. I like people are nasty. Like,
oh yeah, you might say that's
I won't get too vulgar, but dudes don't care. Like,
oh yeah, you might find somebody that's into that that want to come.
Or they just don't care. Like they clean you up and like, or you clean yourself up and you get back to it.
Or yeah, and I'll be honest.
Honestly,
I've had some interesting experiences. This is one I was actually going to do for the Tales for the Crypts for more detail. But like I hired a caregiver because when I travel on my own, especially when I was doing rugby a lot, I would hire caregivers off of Craigslist to come help me do my care for like the 3 hours or whatever.
Oh, the
And there
Craigslist
was
sale.
one, and there was one that was very intimate in Alabama. A nice Southern girl from Birmingham, Alabama. And after we did the bowel care, I ended up having an accident like in the bed. It was a mess. She had no problems. She cleaned me up, did whatever, and then like we ended up spending pretty much the weekend together. And like she came out to California a few times. Like it was a whole. We ended up seeing each other for like a year. Like
That was the whole thing.
and we met while I was pooping. So there you go.
Poop with a friend, whatever.
So you never know, I guess.
Well, it's inevitable part. I mean, let me tell you, I've had many an experience, yeah, with a partner and had an issue, or I mean, what if you're having a lazy day in bed, like hanging out, like eventually you're gonna have to like stop and cap and like pull out this tube and this bag and this thing and um, I it's a tricky thing. I have made lots of personal decisions in regards to my body, probably almost solely based on that. In terms of like how I catheterize and my metroponoff and everything. Like I was like a teenager thinking about like dating and navigating, like that. And that was like a big factor in like, okay, here's what I want to do. So I don't gotta deal with tubes and bags and stuff, like and blah 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 blah. Like I um that's how I've gone about it. And I don't know, like people might think that's like silly, but it's what I decided and chose to do to make myself feel confident, make myself feel good, and I think that's totally okay to do. As long as I'm healthy and I can, like live independently and successfully and stuff, like it's all good. Um, so I don't know, learning to own that stuff, learning to not let it affect you. I haven't mastered it. Like I've, you know, been with a girl and being intimate, had an issue, and it's totally broke me. Like I was just so fucking embarrassed. Like I just wanted to die. You know, like that's reality. Did I get over it and move on and have a ton of other positive, amazing experiences? Hell yeah. Did I get over it in the moment? Fuck no.
No.
It could be a day or a week or a month or like however long to kind of
Thought
get
about it
over
for a
it.
couple of years, I'm sure.
Yeah, the embarrassment, the cringe, and like I still think back to some of those moments, and part of me dies a little bit on the inside just thinking about the embarrassing nature of it. But I didn't let it stop me. I didn't let it scare me so bad that I never went back and tried again. And I think that's really important. How do you get over that stuff? I don't know. Oh, I still struggle. I know that when you do find a partner that you trust, that you love, that you're really close with, like you take their stuff in stride and they take yours in stride, and that can help make it easier because you don't understand the other person. You just know it's not a thing, and it's easy to move past, and you're right back to where you were before. But that is not always easily found. It's a long road to get there, and yeah, there's just some trials and tribulations that could occur along the way. And yeah, I don't know. It's really tough. It's super tough.
I
Um,
don't know if I told y'all, like, I think I said this story on a previous podcast, but when I went to rehab, I had never done a bowel program or they hadn't done the dill method or anything. And I went to Craig and um, they asked if I cared if I had a male nurse or if I had a female preference, which I didn't care. I always answered that way. And I ended up having like the hottest dude like be my nurse, and that was who was the first person who I had a bowel program with. It was the finest dude ever, and it was my first. Like I was like that was my moment, Tom. Like you wanted to die. I was just like And we're like having a casual conversation while he's doing the thing. Like you're all fucking facing away from each other. It was like the most humiliating thing ever. But I think that that's probably part of why I have a little bit more of a DGAF attitude towards it, because that was my first experience, and it, wasn't a partner, it was a nurse situation, but it was equally as humiliating for me. I was just like, man, this is the hottest guy. Like, he was stupid hot, and like should not have been a nurse so hot. Like, he definitely could have been in a calendar. Like, it could have been a spoof. Like, he could have actually been a stripper. Like, he was that fine. And so I'm like, that's like, and having that super fine stranger be the first person to like have to do that, I was just like, all right, like, if I can live through this, like, nobody else can embarrass me, which I have that mentality. Of course, I get embarrassed and still struggle with those things. But I like to think going into these things, I've already been through like really unfortunate circumstances. So whatever comes, it won't be so bad.
And yeah, I mean, that DGAF, like, I don't give a fuck, like, sometimes you gotta have that attitude and embrace it. And you can't
Even if
always
you
say
really
no.
do, you're going to project that you don't.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm like,
Exactly.
sometimes like, I'll be like dying on the inside, but just be projecting that in hopes that it'll like
Inside,
take over.
I'm going to cry quietly when I'm alone. Like,
Yeah.
but y'all will not know this.
And Anger
Yeah.
Quad said in the chat too, like, get over shit like that, or it'll get over you quick. And it's gotten over me where, like,
Got me.
yeah,
It
it got me.
happens.
It got me for a time, but it didn't get me forever. Again, like, great comment, like, lessons through fire. Like, sometimes it takes a little while to recover, after making it through the flames, but generally you come out stronger. Like, haven't gone through, what might be the worst, most embarrassing experience of your life up until that point, but you got through it. You got past it. It's over now. It's done. It's not likely to happen again. And if it does happen again, at least you've been through it once before, and you know how to navigate and deal with the situation a little bit better, because you
It may
learn from
sound
it.
weird, like, even it doesn't sting as bad, even if it's an actually like theoretically like much more embarrassing situation. It never affects you like that, like horrifically first encounter of embarrassment. Like, it may be a much more embarrassing experience on the outside, but it just doesn't sting as bad as that first time. At least it doesn't for me. I'm hoping that won't happen. I'm probably gonna jinx the shit out of myself now.
You're gonna
But
yeah, no, I've had some pretty funny and weird experiences like that, just with like just hiring, because like I've hired, like I've said, like so many different caregivers, and like I literally, the first time I meet them, within 10 minutes, like I'm naked and they're putting something in my butt, like
like a fetish party.
It's an awkward experience of meeting, like, especially when they're attractive, and like most of the time I'll just have like email conversation with them, so like I don't know what they're gonna look like. I don't know exactly, like, it's just, and yeah, I've had a few that are attractive, and it's like, oh,
It's
like,
worse. I don't know why, but it's so
It
much
kind of
worse
is.
when they're like attractive. Like, what, like, I've had very attractive female nurses too, and I'm just like all in my feels. Like, it's just, it never fails. And that's when the most embarrassing shit happens, is in front of the hot nurses and hot caretakers. And
Brianna just said making a little joke can really make a huge difference. Don't shut down it. Just yeah.
And
Just
Louis said there's a whole thread on Facebook on dating your caregivers /PTs. What do you guys think about that? Like, dating or having your significant other like be your caregiver and stuff. I know that's kind of like a hot topic. Did we lose Bentley?
oh, I don't know. My phone was ringing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're good.
that's
You're
cool.
good. Just went black for a second.
It might go black again. It's dying. I just like wanted to throw that out there if that does happen. But please
Oh
continue.
no, okay. Well, we
You're
are
good.
getting towards the end,
Well,
so
we'll wrap up here. This will be our last little topic. This is like a hotly debated topic. Like, there was an episode of Dr. Phil about it, about like they had an interable couple where the able-bodied partner was like the caregiver, and I don't know, like I met a lot of couples, interacted with couples where their significant other is their caregiver, at least for a majority of the time. And I don't know, like at least my 2 cents is that is like, of course you're always going to be a caregiver for your significant other to a certain extent. I mean, that's able-bodied, disabled, no matter what, right? It's at least that's how I kind of like see my relationships. It's like I want to be that person to help take care of that person. That's why I love them. Like that's a big part of it for me. What we talk about though, like amongst the disabled community, is there's more of that. At least like more physical care, generally tied on with that, and sometimes daily care, intimate daily care, bladder and bowel care, stuff like that. And it is the opinion of some individuals that that's too much. Too much conflict, too much risk, and mixing, compromising the care, compromising the relationship as a result of, too much caregiver burnout, all kinds of nuanced takes to that. Um, I really believe, if you're like in a committed relationship, long-term relationship with somebody, you're gonna be doing some stuff, absolutely. But finding a balance, I
I
think.
feel like it's just about the balance there. And so like if you're completely reliant on somebody for care, I don't know that that should be you should have one that should be your significant other that you're like 24 hours reliant on for somebody. Like if you're like a high level quad that's highly reliant on care, I feel like you should have some supplemental care. Like at least like I just that's
Well,
my personal opinion and I know it's different for everybody, but like
it's always my policy. Like you should never rely on
just
somebody 24/7, 365, even if that somebody is yourself. For part of it, or like segments of time where you're able to like handle it on your own. I think that's healthy for anybody. I don't think that's a reasonable ask for anybody either. Like they're always gonna have times where they're sick or they're down and out, or they're not gonna be there to be able to help you. And you gotta have a backup. You gotta have a balance. And I would argue to say, like take as much of that burden off of your partner as you can, or as much as they're comfortable with, and just like find a happy middle ground, because it it is very important, to not have that expectation. Um, but hey, if that's what works for you, and that's you're the diamond, in the rough, that like that dynamic works, and great. Um, but at the end of the day, I don't know. Like there isn't. I revel in the times I can help take care of my partner, and be there for her, and like be that support, because it makes me feel good. Um, a lot of sometimes I'm too tired, or I'm not there. I can't be that, but for those moments, those opportunities, I am. I don't know. They made me feel good. Made me feel like a better partner. So I think, yeah, it's all about finding a happy balance in the midst of that.
yeah,
Um,
for sure. Here, let's just get since I know we're getting late in Bentley. I don't want your phone to die. Do you have any like last, closing stuff, Bentley? You want to finish up with any advice to people out here, or just anything you want to mention here at the end?
Well, my,
On
I guess, advice would be more for the single people. Like, this definitely applies to other people in relationships, but I think it's important to really incorporate the self love. I know that I have had to go really deep within myself, and like, I am just now even capable of being in a relationship because I just now know how to love myself. And being in my later 30s, late 30s, later 30s already, that's been very difficult. And it sounds cliche, but it's absolutely true. And until you love and respect yourself, you're not going to find a partner that equally reciprocates that. And I just want people to keep in mind that it doesn't have to be that way either. You're not less than or lack anything if you're not with anybody. you can be happy completely alone, and if somebody comes along to add to that happiness, then that's incredible. But there's nothing wrong with riding solo.
Yep. And I think just like add on a little bit of that, a lot of the loneliness and the desperation we feel for like someone to love us can be filled with that self love, and I think a lot of people lead like that's what they're looking for in a relationship is to kind of someone to fill that for them, where no, like they should be working on fulfilling that for themselves before they start to look for you know someone else, because yeah, it can make dating harder. Love yourself. Everybody love yourself.
Yeah, for sure. That
uh,
self love is really important. Um, and yeah, Bentley, I gotta take your
Emotional
advice, I
and
think, a little bit
physical.
and
Don't forget to
work
masturbate,
on.
people. It's healthy. Just kidding.
I just like, and I didn't want to, I don't mean to put you on the spot for that or anything, but you are such a wonderful dude and you have so much to offer somebody. And if they can't see you with your chair, then they don't deserve you, in my opinion.
Oh, well, thank you.
Shawn, Shawn is a catch. And any single ladies out there that are looking, he's got that self love thing down. He's
Oh, the
just
single
looking for
ladies. Oh,
that
the single
outside
ladies.
love.
We're
uh,
manifesting something.
I'm down. Let's do this. Oh yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate that. That's cool. And
Uh,
yeah,
what up? I saw my mom in the chat. Hi, mom. Happy anniversary. See you and Papa. I hope you guys are having a great Valentine's Day. And I love ya. And
yeah.
love
Happy
everybody else
anniversary.
too in the chat. Brianna, Angry Quad, Kelly, um, Be Breezy, Suzanne, everybody in the chat. Doom, aka Scarab. We still got to play some Star Citizen, homie. Um, but yeah, lots of love to everybody on Valentine's Day. If you aren't feeling the love, then start loving yourself. Order some yummy food. Get some pizza. Put on a movie that you like.
I'm about to
You
make
know,
some bagel bites right there.
yeah, let's go. Get some good dessert.
Those are
Do
single
something.
people's pizzas, okay?
Those are single. I love it. Oh yeah, bagel
Uh,
bites are bomb.
you
All
know,
right.
and yeah, this is it's a hard day for a lot of people. So, your literal fam's here for you guys. If you are feeling that a little bit.
Yeah, if
So
you're
yeah,
feeling
just lots of
down,
love to
reach
everybody.
out. And if you need some more people to hang out with tomorrow, Tom will be back on here, I think, gaming. I don't know what game he's playing tomorrow, but he's usually hanging out. You can hang out in the chat and just,
Yep.
you know, feel like you're part of this awesome. And Tom's pretty good at gaming, actually. I've been watching, like, Tom's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Thank
um,
you, bro. Yeah, we'll probably do a little Fortnite tomorrow night, maybe some more Harry Potter. I don't know.
And then
But
shout
we're
out
gonna
to
figure it
Brianna in the chat. On Thursday, she'll be on for the women's show. So first and third Thursdays, you guys make sure to check out Brianna and the women. And then we'll be back live next Tuesday. And I'm hoping next Thursday, Bobby will be back. Maybe one more out. He's almost out of the rehab center where he's in right now. And we'll be back soon. But I actually saw him on Friday, and he's doing good. And yeah, he said hi to everybody.
Did we thank our sponsor, Shawn?
And no, we did not. So let's go ahead and thank the sponsors real quick.
And
I'm
I
gonna
see that
do.
comment, dude. 318 Star Citizen patch coming, bro. I know. As soon as it drops, man, we're playing. You gotta join the stream.
All right. Should I do the commercial thing?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, we can just run it real quick if you want. It's up to you.
I'll play the
Producers.
iBot one, because they're a sponsor for this month, and then we'll thank them, and then our normal sponsors, Mobility Pros, and
Big shout out to Mobius Mobility. Go check out last week's episode if you have not. It was super cool.
yeah, for sure. It was a cool episode. They're cool people, cool chair. So check it out. They're sponsoring the show all month long.
Was that last week or the week before last? Week
No, it was
before
last week. It just yeah, dude.
Time is all crazy, guys.
This is the chair. It is off-road capabilities. It has the upright capability, so it can stand vertically like that to get you at eye level. And it actually does roll really cool. I rolled in it for like an hour. It was an awesome chair to roll with. Yeah, all kinds of terrain like this, little stairs, off-road, uneven stuff. It's a
twenty
really cool.
thousand dollars cheaper than your standard power wheelchair.
Yeah, and
Um,
$20,000 cheaper than Tom's chair.
they fold up. They're a lot lighter than the standard power chair and offer, I think, significant opportunity for increased independence. And while they're not covered by Medi-Cal and Medicare, there is lots of avenues for funding and also like through private insurance
And
that
the
you can
VA.
sign up.
The VA covers them.
Yeah, and the VA
So
covers
if you're
them
a
too.
veteran,
Also, mobility professionals and urology professionals. Mobility Professionals is a wheelchair rehabilitation equipment company out here in Southern California. Help you out with wheelchairs, um, shower chairs, other similar equipment, whatever you might need if you're located in the Southern California area. And if you are national anywhere in the United States and are in need of catheter supplies, do not hesitate. Give urology professionals a call. All the information is in the description below. You can just do a quick Google. I promise you, nobody should be in need of catheters in this day and age. If you have any form of insurance, and just call up your urology professionals, they'll look at your insurance, they'll look at your situation, and do all the work for you in terms of getting you your monthly catheter supplies on time with regularity, so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff because nobody should. So, yep.
yeah,
Thanks for sponsors. We love you guys, and thank you to
we
everybody
do. We
watching.
really appreciate all three. You guys are all awesome. And all three
Definitely,
companies,
you're
us,
awesome.
Building
Thank you so
Professionals,
much.
everybody will be at the Abilities Expo next month in LA. If anybody's in the Southern California area and wants to come out. So,
Bentley's gonna be here too. You're coming out to LA, Bentley? I'm just kidding.
oh, I think she froze.
I can't.
Oh
My
no.
phone's not.
Oh, there it is. Your phone's dying. It's all good. All right, Bentley. We will talk to you soon. We're gonna
I
wrap
love
up
y'all.
here.
My
All
phone's
right.
about to die.
Thank you, Bentley. No worries. Love you too.
Bye, Bentley. Thank you
You're
so much.
you're the shit.
I'll talk to
You're
y'all
so
soon.
for sure. Awesome. All right. So yeah, dude, we can wrap it up, I guess.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope you're
Yeah.
feeling the love. And
Yeah. Happy
yeah,
Valentine's Day, everybody. And like we said, if you're feeling lonely, you're not feeling good, reach out. Message. And yeah.
Yep.
We're around.
We're all here.
There's support around.
We're all here to love and support each other. So let's keep on doing that.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week. And Tom, see him tomorrow.
Yep. Live to roll,
Thanks, guys, for
everybody.
watching. Live to roll, everybody.